it's the fun little preamble where we get to make sure that everything is running properly. Everyone's favorite part of the show.
Does it work?
And I am officially calling this like anime-splaining Gaiden, or Japanese for like side story.
That works. Anime Gaiden.
But yeah, we are actually up and running, so we are good. So welcome everyone to Animesplaining. It is, we do not have Joey here because we had to watch 10 episodes in a week. There's no chance that this happened.
Dude, that is a damn shame.
I don't think he would like this.
Don't think so?
No.
I think at least being familiar with the characters really helps.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But we watched Suicide Squad Isekai, as you can see from the background. A best way to explain it, surpassed our expectations. Like,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, that's it.
We were expecting it to be really bad.
A lot of DC shows they have, a lot better than a lot of anime they have. It was just kind of just came out of the blue, like every Suicide Squad project so far.
No,
it's like James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
So far, DC has been really, like, overall, like, this show punches above its weight class overall. But in their animation division in general, aside from the movies, like, the movies are still generally mediocre, but My Adventures with Superman, better than it has any right to be. The Caped Crusader or whatever on Amazon Prime, better than it has, or kind of as good as we expected to be, because we expected kind of just a spiritual successor to Batman the Animated Series.
They also did put Bruce Timm and J.J. Abrams everywhere. It's like, you better be freaking amazing if those names out there. You better not suck.
And then this, which is like probably the most off the wall things, that ends up being pretty entertaining and, in my opinion, far too expensive looking for.
At times, at the right moments. Other times it was like, yeah, this is a still frame. No one's moving. No one's moving at all. At some point, someone would talk and they wouldn't even show the guy. Just be the person they're talking to, just like, yes.
Yeah, in the dub, the lip flaps are also way off. They did not get that software that like corrects the lip flaps for English.
No.
Just do not look at their mouths in this show.
It did add to its charm in that it's like an American property in a Japanese anime universe. It was kind of supposed to be a parody already. So it was like, okay, you kind of look silly. It's like watching the whole Godzilla mouth thing. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah, so the basic conceit of the story is that it's just a take on the general isekai genre, which is people getting transported into a fantasy world. Oftentimes it has like video game mechanics, but in this case it is truly just like, hey, here's the Suicide Squad in a fantasy world. It reminds me of like the X-Men stories where they like go to the Savage Lands. It's kind of in that same vein where it's just like, hey, we're going to drop like the political pretext on X-Men and just have them like fight dinosaurs for a bit. Because
let's fight in space. Here's the let's fight racism in space. Let's just put the X-Men over here. For me, it was like, this is Army of Darkness. This feels like Army of Darkness, and by the end, like, yeah, this is Army of Darkness. It's the exact same thing.
Yep, Army of Darkness are also an isekai. But I'm just happy to see it not have like video game mechanics attached to it, and the only character who's like truly self-aware is Clayface, because Clayface watches movies apparently.
Apparently the only one that watches movies. So I guess the other ones are busy committing crimes or whatever.
Harley Quinn talks about zombies for a bit, but that's about it.
Peacemaker, I guess, doesn't own a TV. He's borderline Captain America in this version. It's semi even worse than Cena.
But yeah, what is your opinion of... So, the new 52. Let's go all the way. Like, I say all the way
Okay.
back. Like the 2000s are not all the way back.
Like 2010 or something.
But they remake the Suicide Squad, and they do it with King Shark, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and
Yeah.
was that one? Did they just use Captain Boomerang then, or I forget the
Yeah, Captain
original?
Boomerang has been a staple for a while. Like, you need him. He's the heart of the team. He's officially their Flash.
But they've kind of moved them around. They used a different squad for the bad Suicide Squad movie, and then a different one for the good Suicide Squad movie, other than keeping Margot Robbie around. And I guess
Captain Boomerang was there. He died, but he was there.
yeah, and I guess we've landed on Clayface, Peacemaker, King Shark, Deadshot, and Harley. Do you
Yeah.
like this makeup for the team?
Yeah, it's a good combination of both movies. You have Harley, Rick Flag, and Deadshot returning from the first one, and you get the additions of King Shark and Peacemaker, which were admittedly the hits in the new one. Like, if they're going to make another movie, those are the guys they're taking from it, so it made sense that they were here as well. And Clayface added something new, something someone hasn't seen before, and it just works because they could make up a new character and just say, just Clayface wants to be this guy, right? He could be Steve Urkel, it's like, fuck, it's Clayface. So he's the perfect addition. It could be someone entirely different next season, for all we know, and it wouldn't matter because it's Clayface.
Yeah, and he gives them an excuse to do like some like big anime stuff because it can basically he can Sandman in this other than like getting really big. But the only other character who's like vaguely within this kind of universe would be Ivy, and this show definitely does not want to tell a Harley and Ivy story.
Yeah. Great job sidestepping. Oh, Enchantress. Okay, that works. Well, it's the same features, man. That works.
I didn't really like Peacemaker in this, but it seems obvious that this was written before the Peacemaker show made it big. Like, he's kind of generic, like, take on Captain America.
But I like him more for that because John Cena does lean into the comedic aspect and he does add more to the role, admittedly. But I feel like this is how Peacemaker was written in the first place. Like, this Peacemaker on the script purely as is. And as a character, I feel like he works within the team because he's the ultimate straight man. So no matter what he does, it's just funny. Like, for no reason, he loses his pants at one point in the show, and they never explain why. He's just pantless, but he's completely serious and it's hilarious. So he works for me. That's all you need.
I don't quite agree. Because the two, I think the failing on this show is the two straight men. I'm not really a fan of Deadshot. Like, I like some of Deadshot's moments, but overall he comes off as kind of a generic jerk. Like, he has no pathos on top of that.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
And then you have Peacemaker, who's kind of a cartoon character, and like, at least he is a cartoon character. I did get a legitimate laugh in, like, I think it's the 7th episode where it's like, oh, what do we need to do with all of these elves whose minds are chained together? And Peacemaker just tortures the shit out of them.
Yeah, it works. You don't even need Cena. Like, the character as is, he's already fine. He's funny. Doesn't need anything else.
Yep, and them doing those big anime, like the like creepy toothy smile close ups, the Cowboy Bebop episode Peril of Foe, that like guy who almost kills Spike. They just do those same shots.
Every now and then they would get really detailed faces and everyone would get really handsome. These extreme close-ups. These crazy cheekbones out in the blue. Super serious. I loved it.
But
all
yeah,
the anime tropes here.
And King Shark is just the opposite of King Shark in the Harley Quinn series, but the purpose of him in the Harley Quinn series is that he is the opposite of how King Shark always is.
Every version of King Shark has been different. Like, this one's closer to the movie version, I feel.
Yeah.
And the whole lovable idiot thing. But I do enjoy that about DC. They give you so many different versions of a character that you can kind of choose your own adventure. While Marvel, because of their shared continuity, they're kind of locked in. So you have Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man, so you have to replace Robert Downey Jr. Here you have like 3 different Harleys, 4 different Harleys. You can pick your own Harley, and you already know who the character is.
Now, did you like Harley in this?
I enjoyed her as is. She was a little more anime-ish. It's the best way I could put it. She was way more impish in this one.
Yeah,
She
she.
reminded me of what's that show we watched? The cyberpunk anime. The character in that one
Oh,
was already just already
Lucy in Cyberpunk the Cyberpunk
yeah
2077 one.
yeah like they're a lot closer to sisters in this one.
Yeah, she is. She is the embodiment of those anime figures from the 2010s that were the DC characters, and they're just like they
Yeah,
just breast boobily, and it's like you never want to purchase one of these.
here at a Barnes and Noble. There you go. You want one of these?
But yeah, I think they leaned too hard into the like she's infatuated with Joker thing and didn't give her enough character for herself, because they hint at
Yeah,
it, and when they hint at it, it's like a little bit interesting, but then they just like put you back to the mean, when I feel like in actuality they should have just leaned into uh the relationship with this princess thing, where it's like where Harley's like, "Oh, you basically remind me of me when I was like
yeah,
cloistered up and stuff like that."
yeah. I agree. I mean, to be fair, there were a lot of characters to balance out, but it whenever we got back to Harley, it was all about Harley and Joker, which I kind of feel is important, is symbolic. They've had them doing multiple seasons. Like next season, maybe we'll get to see her personality once that part of her is broken. But for now, her entire personality is her relationship, and that kind of fits her.
Mm-hmm. It's violence and the relationship with the Joker, and
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I like Joker's piano car. I do not like that design of Joker. I
But yeah, I remember Jared Leto exists. I go, oh yeah, that makes sense.
yeah
I'm cool with it. It's just, oh, it's that guy. Yeah, that's fine. It's
yeah
just Leto Joker being Leto Joker.
yeah. It's anime Jared Leto Joker. It's Hot Topic Joker. Uh,
Yeah. I put it in that continuity, and I am okay with it because I can do whatever I want with the Snyderverse now. It's dead. So this happened. This happened in the Snyderverse to me. It's the only way to make Killer Croc cool.
yeah. So overall, it's like hit and misses with the main cast, and I'm trying to figure out how this show punches above its weight, because I'm about to go into story, and the story's pretty generic. It's like watching someone's D&D campaign, where the DM
It's
says like you have this one thing that you need to do, and they go and do it in the episode, and
yeah.
it just kind of it just kind of continues.
The characters carry the show. It's just the personality, and that's it. That's it. It's the host of the D&D campaign that's making the entire show. Otherwise, it's the most generic thing you've seen in your life, including everyone they meet in the fantasy realm. It's the fact that it's a Suicide Squad, and you put them here. And James Gunn got the same idea. It's like, the Suicide Squad, let's put them in Brazil. Let's just see what happens when we put them over here, and they're fighting starfish. It's just here. They put them in a fantasy setting. We're fighting these fantasy characters, and that's all you need to do, because Harley Quinn's already funny. Peacemaker's already funny. It's the Deadpool equation. Where can we put Deadpool next? That's all they're doing over here. And it works for me. It's you may say these are the lesser versions of the characters, including Peacemaker, but I feel like the show is the sum of its parts, and these guys, the dynamic together is just it's comedic gold.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't be seeing any of the regular Suicide Squad cast as straight men, because the straight man is effectively the universe as it exists. Like it
Yeah,
you're transporting the Suicide Squad into Lord of the Rings and seeing what
yeah.
breaks.
The entire universe there is serious as is. It is Army of Darkness. It's like, what say you, son? He's just making fun of these guys. That's it. That's the entire show for 10 episodes straight.
But top tier music, top tier opening, top tier
Mm.
closing. Like my a very rare closing that I've actually enjoyed.
I try not to skip. Like I try to stop the skip button just so I can watch it.
Just
And it's
I was
I
originally going to
gotta
have our background on Twitch here just be like the various gifs of Amanda Waller dancing, because my pain is here with that, so it needs to be inflicted on other people. But I decided to just focus on one of the shots from the opening.
if James Gunn could just get Viola Davis to do that, and in life, in like the third Suicide Squad movie, I'll die happy.
They didn't really do enough with Amanda Waller in this as well, but
Just fine.
that might
For
be.
me, she's Charlie.
Yeah.
These are her angels. She just chimes in every now and then. So she doesn't have to do anything. Nick Fury doesn't have to do anything either. Like, I know he exists. He put the team together. He doesn't have to be out there shooting people.
I do like the idea. It's like, oh yeah, the Argus is just like looking for other universes just so we could like steal their resources. We're just doing a colonization.
Yeah, Amanda Waller saw Avatar. Like, that's not a bad idea. We have a machine. We can do that. Unobtainium, here we come. Which is fine for me. It's a pot to Avatar now to Suicide Squad. See, it just gets better.
Yeah, but then we don't. It like hurts me because I'm thinking of my ending score at the end of the day and trying to figure out like where this is placed, and it's like between a 4 and a 5. It's not a 6. It's definitely not a 7.
Disagree. I'm bringing it up. This is high for me.
But the issue is that it's like the opposite of the Demon Slayer problem. The Demon Slayer problem is that when you're watching it, you're like way into it, and with Suicide Squad is I would watch it, I would go, this is really dumb, and then leave it going, that was really dumb, but that was like a really interesting way to do it.
It's like an Adult Swim cartoon or something.
Yeah, it straight up has just an Adult Swim outro at the end of the day. Like the beginning, they're definitely aping from like 90s and early 2000s anime. It's that very jazzy, like stylistic opening.
It's very Cowboy Bebop, very Samurai Champloo. Like, it would like fit right into that block if they were to like air these together.
Yeah, I didn't look up which animation studio did this either, which is unfortunate. I should do that at some point. That's not going to be here because this is the more informal episode.
We'll touch upon it in the future or something. This is one I feel like Joey should at least check out because he's at least familiar with DC characters. Like, should at least like know of this one.
I agree. I don't think he'll like it because I think it's not necessarily the animation style changing, but especially when there's action, like the physical bodies of these characters don't matter anymore. They do a whole lot of like squishing and stretching to make them move the way they do. Like some part in the fight scene, some of them seem rotoscoped, and others like look kind of Ralph Bakshi-ish, and in other cases it's just like, oh no, this was just straight up drawn. And
sometimes your skin is jiggly and sometimes it's not. It just happens. It's like very vibrating. Okay.
And they have the very dynamic Demon Slayer camera where the camera's going just all over the place, and
and occasionally things are just really pretty and shiny. And I appreciate that. Just the eyes just look crazy. There's like rings inside it. Neat.
You know, I would almost rather them have done. So there is an anime out there called Gintama. In Gintama, it's basically just a parody anime. They just take various other animes and they just like talk shit about them. Is really what it comes down to. It's like Airplane. That sort of thing. Like, they take the genre and they make fun of it. I would almost rather have, like, if Demon Slayer Isekai is a thing, to just work with any sort of property that you have in the actual anime space and just put these guys in that world. So
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, honestly. But seeing it the way they're leading into another season, I'm disappointed that they're staying in the fantasy world, and I'm gonna have to ding the show for that because that means multiple seasons that we have to stay here. Like, oh, we're gonna stay in this boring setting. I thought it'd be like, oh, now it's gonna be a space season. Now it's gonna be over here. Like, try different genres, but this is what an isekai is, isn't it?
yes, it is most of the time fantasy, unfortunately. And
Darn.
like you can thank Sword Art Online for that, and all this.
The Dreamcast.
Just people really like just getting hit by buses and waking up in a video game world, but it's a lot of wish fulfillment in that genre because the entire purpose of it is that, oh well, where our main audience are like teenage boys, and if you think that your life isn't great, or your life after school is just going to be a salary man, or like you're just going to be in work for the rest of your life, it's like, if I get hit by a bus, then I'm in this video game world where my stats like determine that I can like make something of myself, and there's all these hot ladies here because now the harem anime is just like isekai. It's just like, oh, suddenly I am in this video game world and there's these 5 ladies who want to bone me for some reason, and I am the most generic man over here. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
so multiple seasons.
and this kind of like shits on that idea a little bit because at least a couple of characters in for the fantasy characters like have a little bit of personality, but at the end of the day they're kind of generic, and the main reason why they're generic is just so you can have the various members of the Suicide Squad just make fun of them.
Right. They're basically walking tropes. We need to see the tropes here so we can make fun of the tropes to its face. So why they can't say anything back to us.
Yeah, it's why I think the real failing of a character, I think, of the main cast is Deadshot, because Rick Flag is there to move the plot along. Rick Flag is the DM. He is the DM character who has like, hey, you guys are spending too much time faffing about, so I'm going to install this character to keep you on the main plot line. Let's get this focused up. Deadshot should be there to be like, this is what reality is, and this makes no sense, and kind of truly be the straight man character, and he isn't, because he's kind of a jerk to everyone. He's not relatable, really. Because I thought they would make him relatable with the whole rat catcher thing, and then they use it as a joke to say like he was a jerk to him in prison too.
Yeah, that's the impression I get of him. He's supposed to be more like, I guess like Spike, or not even Spike, maybe Mugen from Samurai Champloo. But that's the closest comparisons I have. Is someone who's just abrasive. He's his entire personality is being abrasive.
He's a JoJo's character, is really what he is. Like JoJo's characters, when they are like jerks, they are over the top jerks, and that's what he felt like.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't really fit here, but I understand why they would have to do that, because for me, the best version of Deadshot still is the version from Justice League Unlimited. In his episode where we were introduced to Task Force X, and he like betrays the team, and he's like suave. He's like Zorro in the entire thing with his thin mustache, and he's amazing. And he hasn't been that cool since, for some reason. Whenever we see, well, for lack of a better way of putting it, the black version, they kind of try to turn him into Will Smith, and it's just stop trying to be Will Smith. You're not gonna out Will Smith. Just make him who he's supposed to be, which is this suave, debonair, very old school, almost like a Rocketeer type of character. But now Clayface is doing that. So Deadshot's gonna have to nothing. Clayface is a suave one now, but Deadshot should be suave. So without being suave, Deadshot is just kind of this bland character, I feel. He's only ever cool when he's, well, the Rocketeer type character.
Yeah, it's like
bad guy.
It's like they're afraid of making him a Mary Sue or something like that. They're afraid of making him good at everything.
Yeah, but he was so cool when he was good at everything. He was the best when he was so good at everything, and voiced by Lex Luthor from Smallville. Awesome.
And granted, what was the one animated movie, Assault on Arkham, and even there, it's like the start of Deadshot being kind of meh. I knew 52 was kind of shitty as well. So I think that he's been this way since then.
Since the last time Deadshot was cool was pre New 52. That's kind of a bummer. We need whenever Deadshot is around, Gail Simone should be riding him, in my opinion. That's the only Deadshot that should matter, is a Gail Simone Deadshot. But well.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of a reason why that is, other than just Will Smith wanted to make Deadshot somewhat relatable, so they wrote in the like daughter storyline, and they've just been unable to escape it ever since.
No, I'm just used to him just being the womanizer of a team. He's just a prick. He's the guy that he's like sees a plastique and then portrays her. That's his whole thing. It's what he does. But now he's like, oh my god, my daughter! I'm doing this for my daughter. That character, that's dull. We've seen that before. It's overplayed.
No, the best version, truly the best version of Deadshot is just Idris Elba in the Suicide Squad, and he was a different character.
Yeah. There's just course correction there. Like, yeah, that's what Deadshot should have been, but now you can't call him that anymore because you wasted it on Will Smith.
Because we need to give him his stupid helmet.
Yeah. That's fine. It's James Gunn's return to universe. Maybe we'll get proper Deadshot this time. You know, Michael B. Jordan's not doing anything.
No, if this was inexpensive to make, I would want them to do a season 2. Like relatively inexpensive to make. Like if I have the choice between a season 2 of this and a like 4-part animated version of, I'm trying to think of a storyline that I really like that I know that they would botch in the animated movies with a 4-parter. 52. Let's just
let's do it. Let's just make it happen. If they announce that project, I'll be excited but cautious.
I would be very frightened. Is what I would be.
I've seen what they've done of Crisis on Infinite Earths multiple times. So no, I don't believe they could talk 52.
Infinite Crisis they might be able to do in a 4-parter, but Crisis on Infinite Earths they kind of botched. So
I don't get how. I feel like it's a fairly simple. It's a long story, but it's a very simple story, and they keep trying to reinvent the wheel and just make it worse. I think it's more complicated than it was before.
It's because they get bogged down in explainium.
Yeah.
Because the benefit of if you go into Crisis on Infinite Earths blind or Infinite Crisis blind is that since the expectation was that you read the story going before it, they don't really explain what happened before. Characters just do stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Why is Spectre so pissed off? I don't know.
So then you read it the same way I did. You read the event and then find, there's tie-ins. There's tie-ins afterwards. Like, now it makes sense. There's like 5 different tie-in books. And I didn't read it until after I already read the event.
Yeah, but I think that's how you need to treat like those stories. You just need to expect the audience to follow along or read into it and essentially just do it for the fans, because like people like lore videos. Elden Ring and Dark Souls and all of these things have all of these fan videos talking about how great the story is, and the story is in these items that you pick up. Oh, well, if you read the item descriptions, like, that's where all the story is. Like, fuck off. I don't want to read the history of a sword. It's like I don't like Lord of the Rings. I don't want to read pages upon pages of J.R.R. Tolkien describing moss. Like, I just want to hit things with a sword. Is all that it takes, and that's what I think that's where I think they've lost the plot. And it's why I think the truly the best DC animated thing that they've done in recent memory is the Dark Knight Returns, because the Dark Knight Returns,
Oh,
they just did a 1-for-1 on the story, and that expects you to be up to date on its
yeah.
own universe, which doesn't exist before it. Frank Miller just made shit up.
Right. Kind of like just you're like switching channels and you find something and you just kind of tune in and whatever it is, you're halfway through it. You gotta figure it out. You just gotta put context clues together and then you'll figure out the movie and maybe enjoy what's left. And I enjoy that kind of storytelling. It doesn't try to spoon feed you anything. You'll pick up the context clues. You'll figure out the history as the story moves along. Like, oh, that's who this character is related to, and I miss that.
Mm-hmm. Now, with a Suicide Squad Isekai season 2,
Mm-hmm.
do you want them to stick with villains, or are there any like hero characters that you would want them to bring in?
I was gonna bring this up. Stick of villains, but the thing is, I'm afraid they're gonna limit the cast as a result. Like part of the charm of Suicide Squad is characters die and they're replaced all the time. This one, I feel like they're gonna stick at these five, and no one else is gonna really join. They're already in a fantasy universe as is. Who else could possibly be here? I feel like they already defeated Team B, so who's left except more fantasy characters? Like I want to see who else fits in this universe from the DC universe. I want to see anime versions of DC characters, but now they need some kind of plot device to bring those characters from our universe into theirs, essentially.
Yeah, I think they should stick with villains regardless, because I think bringing in heroes brings in too much baggage
Yeah,
from the executives. Like at the point that you're bringing in any sort of hero, that's when you go, oh nope, you can't have the hero lose, you can't have the hero die here,
yeah.
or something like that. Um, and granted, that's what,
Well, Killer Croc, who knows what happened to Killer Croc?
and that's I mean
Blood in the water.
that's where the Harley Quinn series does very well, because it just takes the piss out of everyone. But they haven't really killed
Yeah,
off any hero characters on that one. They've only killed off villains. Um, but
see, fair.
aside from that, like just give me some off the wall people. Bring in Psycho Pirate. Why not Psycho Pirate? Like granted
Michael Pyre would be really cool. He'd
granted
be
we already
devastating
had
in the
like
universe.
a mind controller guy in this one because we had the Thinker, but I mean the Thinker gave us
Yeah,
probably the most interesting 2 episodes in this, so why not just do an entire season of Psycho Pirate as your main villain?
right. Like Reverse Flash or somebody. Like bring in some of the rogues. Mirror Master. Mirror Master would be kind of nuts. Captain Cold. I'm just going straight for Flash villains here.
Just anyone but the Joker.
Everyone but a joke. Bring in Cheetah. What's Cheetah doing? Not Joker, not Lex Luthor either. Parasite. What's Parasite up to? Parasite would be great.
But overall, not much to say. I like that they all got Magical Girl animations in the very last episode. Like,
Yeah, that took too long. I was hoping that'd be earlier. Like I'm glad they all powered up in the end, but I was hoping that'd be earlier. Fine, they were really cool for the last episode.
I wish they teased it at least once or twice. Like, have a
Yeah,
fake Magical Girl transformation, and then they give us the real one in the last episode.
that does make me look forward to the next season though. That they kind of start off with those powers. It's kind of cool. I'm trying to figure out what it reminds me of. Ronin Warriors, I think it was called.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I forget the actual name of it, but yeah, Ronin Warriors. It's on Prime. You can watch the entire thing, including when they defeated Talpa, and then the show went completely off the rails, and then they just brought back Talpa again.
we missed Topha. Bring back Topha.
Yep, they were like, oh, what if our main villain was this sexy lady? And then it's like the most boring 5 episodes of that show that you'll ever see, and then it's like, oh nope, the regular villain cast is here, except they're more powerful now. And Anubis is the ancient one now. He likes
Yeah,
his
that's
little jingle jangly staff thing. There are people who are really into Ronin Warriors who are going to see this on the replay and be like, Tony knows me. He drops those Ronin Warriors references.
Someone remembered Ronin Warriors. I almost said Mystic Knights of Tirnanog, but that's too deep a cut for these guys.
No. What are you talking about? You can let's just drop big bad Beetleborgs while we're at it.
Yeah. So just reminded me.
But yeah,
These...
Mystic Knights of Tirnanog is probably the most off the wall one, because that one was like, it was made by an Irish company that was like, they were trying to capitalize on Saban, but it was also made by Saban, I think it was still.
Oh. Yeah, it was still a Saban show. Saban still took the money. It's basically our idea.
But I'm trying to think of, what was that? I'm like thinking of Pirates of Dark Water, but that was actually animated. But that was another one that no one watched. We can talk about the original Isekai, which was King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, when King Arthur and the Knights are just a bunch of football players that get transported to the fantasy world.
This show has been done a lot. This is where we're getting at. You don't need to watch it because you've seen it already. Watch it because it's a Suicide Squad doing something you've already seen before.
Watch it because of that intro. Just do that.
Sweet intro. Everyone's so cool for no reason. They're not even doing anything, and they're just doing it in slow motion, and that makes it cooler. Like, I understand Zack Snyder now. Everything is slower.
Although in the image that I'm using for the background right now in Twitch, when they're all just slowly walking towards the camera, it's like Harley looks really wonky in that shot, and
like they're kind of drugged out on that shot. Maybe it's from the episode where they all got really drunk. I don't know. Maybe they're hammered.
Yeah, they kept the James Gunn party episode, which is always good.
Yeah, I noticed. It's now a trope. It's now a staple now. The Suicide Squad. You don't have the Suicide Squad without a party episode. They have to get drunk at least once. I noticed that was in a David Ayer movie as well. They got drunk there as well. The Suicide Squad get drunk. That's just what they do now.
Yeah, and that's the most interesting that movie gets. Is when the Suicide Squad are just being characters, like amidst all the bad stuff happening.
Yeah.
And
I wish they let David Ayer be David Ayer for that movie, but they wanted this so badly, this silly Suicide Squad, and it does work, the silly Suicide Squad thing. But you could have serious if you wanted to, just let them do what they're good at. And that's your Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder's not good at it. Stop letting him do that.
Yeah, me wish casting. So I'm the person who like listens to D&D podcasts. I watch The Legend of Vox Machina on Prime, which is a Critical Role thing. And I think you need to follow that formula with the Suicide Squad at this point. You need to establish them as kind of these goofy characters. But overall, the main story that you're telling with the Suicide Squad is these people, these characters are in a situation that is vastly bigger than their power set is, and they cannot leave. They need to succeed whether they die or not.
I do enjoy the twist though, that because they're in this universe, all their powers are spruced up. Like it's a nice addition, and at least changes things up a bit, and then puts a gun in their hands. Like I like Clayface's power set here.
Yeah, but I think overall, if you're doing like a season 2, or you want to do a serious season, the goofy season actually helps you. It lets you do a Venture Brothers, where you have gotten to learn about these characters, and now you care about them because you've seen them be goofy for so long, and now they're in a really serious situation. But it's like, I've been with these characters for 20-25 episodes, and they're in dire straits here. What's going to happen to them? And that's how you get them.
Now when a character dies, it's gonna suck. I feel like Peacemaker's gonna be the one to bite it. He has my vote for next season.
No, it'll, if I honestly, if that's anyone, I think it's gonna be either King Shark or Deadshot.
I feel like there's not really much impact as Deadshot. I feel like they're gonna have to like develop the character a lot more for me to feel bad about him dying. Like, they're gonna have to do a lot more. I'll feel bad for Peacemaker. I'll feel terrible for King Shark. Deadshot,
or we'd feel really terrible for Clayface, because Clayface, if he understands the tropes, if they're in a situation which is like vastly over what their skill set is, then
yeah.
Clayface is the one's like, oh, I understand the heroic sacrifice. Watch this. And
Oh yeah, Clayface is the one that's more likely to die. Clayface is the morph of the team, clearly. Like they always go for the comedic relief. Are you Kid Flash? Yeah, you're gone. You're done. It's just you make people laugh, you're dead. So I think Clayface is more likely to go, and he already showed that the bomb doesn't do anything to him. So it's gonna have to be some big spectacular sacrifice that completely disintegrates him from his existence. It's gonna be tearful and amazing. So Clayface, you're right. Clayface has my vote. He's done for. We like him too much.
Yep, and then replace him with some other thing with a power set. Maybe
ambush bug or somebody.
Or replace him with a female character, because you need you need another female on this team, but not Ivy. Do not do Ivy.
Isn't Enchantress part of the team now? Like she's.
Oh yeah, I guess you have Enchantress. So.
Yeah, we got a new member now. Enchantress. They always go round up Ratcatcher, I guess, or somebody.
Definitely. So the one character I can definitively say is better than any of the movies that we've ever seen is this Enchantress is better than the Enchantress that we got in the movies, because she's not just wiggling, just wiggling.
She has a personality. It's not just Shakira.
Hey, Claire Delevingne, how are you going to be this ancient Egyptian witch thing? Well, like this.
Guys are one of these. You're hired. This lady's got it. Yeah.
So,
I feel like we have at least one new cast member next season. She's already in the intro, so it works out.
So we teased our scores. I think I've come to my decision where, as per usual, we'll stick with the 7-star scale, where 1 is like completely insulting to my intelligence, 2 is like bad, but maybe you can point out a few good qualities from it. 3 is a generalized, like, I liked it, I did not feel robbed statement. 4 is good, but with like just some discerning bad qualities, like something that just sits in your brain just enough to keep it from being. 5, which is good for the genre. 6, which is exemplary for the genre, and 7, which is so good it has redefined what good is. And I'm going to come down in favor of it. I'm going to give it a 5, because the animation is really good. The intro and outro are really good. The music is really good. The story, I wish there was more, but I've also watched quite a bit of modern anime, and maybe it's the fact that this is kind of a throwback to 90s and 2000s era anime, but I'm gonna be almost 40 and feel the nostalgia hit, so whatever, I'll give it a 5.
For those exact reasons, I'm giving it a 6. Like, I can't give it a 7 in all good conscience because you've seen the story before, and because this setting is gonna get really old real quick. Like, it's already been 10 episodes, and I feel like that was enough. I thought they would maybe get transferred to another universe or something, maybe Apocalypse or something like that. But if we're gonna be here another season, all right, that might get old. But maybe after 2 seasons, we'll get another one. I don't know. Maybe 2 seasons will be it.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. We'll see. With shows now, it's like, oh yeah, there'll be a new season in like 2 years.
Yeah,
it's
there's that too. Maybe I'll miss it by then.
It's never 1 year right after the other, unless it's just regular anime. Because Lord knows we'll have the new fucking Demon Slayer movies out before we know it in 2025.
Yeah. New seasons are like movie sequel release dates now. Like, we'll see you in 3 years. All at once.
But yeah, so we're going to have our second third of Ghost in the Shell next week. That's at least what I've told Joey, so if we push it back, we push it back. Completely depends on if he actually watches the episodes. But yeah, aside from that, good show. Go watch it. I haven't watched enough of Kite Man to say whether or not it's good. At least the first episode was not. There's a new there's a new season of Vox Machina coming out, and that's pretty good. If you like fantasy. And there's a new season of Arcane coming out in November. So
yes.
if you want to know the story of League of Legends but are like, I don't want to play that fucking game because it sucks, then watch Arcane, because Arcane is actually good.
That's how that works.
And for all we know, there might be another cool Sting song in it.
They can't afford Sting twice.
They can afford Sting. Do you know how much money Riot has? The company that makes League of Legends?
Do they have Sting money?
They have hire Linkin Park to do your intro song to your stupid esports competition money. So if you want to hear the new lead singer of Linkin Park sing terribly in a song that sounds like a Triple H intro song, you can look up. It's like Heavy as the Crown, I think it is, but
that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a fun listen.
Yeah,
they don't ever release anything new already.
I will send it to you when we're done here, but yeah, that's it from us. We'll see you next week or a week later, depending on when my brother decides to watch some anime. But yeah, we'll go back to Cyberpunk. Hooray, hooray.